I have this thing where swimmers, especially people who identify as swimmer, are super boring. So
No,
like I don't identify as a swimmer. I'm like, nope, I am
not
but I happen to swim and I'm decent. So yeah.
Welcome back to the Social Kick Podcast. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got a full crew today. Dr. John Mullen, Luke Paddington, and joining us from Texas, Shaine Casas. What's up, Shaine?
What's up?
What's happening? What's going on in College Station?
Not much, just training and schoolwork and relaxing, living the life.
Well, shoot, man. So you just came off a pretty big meet, some pretty great performances too. Give us a rundown of your reaction to SECs.
SECs was definitely like one of those meets that has a lot of anticipation and pressure put onto it. And I think, from a swimming standpoint, I did all right, but I feel like I was lacking a couple things going into the meet. And I learned from that meet that I need to be a little more aggressive with like my training and like my mindset going into things, because I felt really like lackadaisical and like relaxed going into the meet, and I felt like I was in a good place and I was too comfortable,
Is there one race that stood out for you that you thought about it, like in particular, that you were disappointed in?
Yeah, the 100 butterfly was not really something I was happy with at all, because like I went 44 9 90 or something like that in the finals, but I was just frustrated because I went 44 like 98 or whatever in a dual meet, and I wasn't shaved for that, and I was excited, and I really thought I had a lot more in the tank. But butterfly is super strange for me like that. Like, I don't know, it's just one of those that either happens or it doesn't. Like, even if you want it to, it's either yes or no. But the other one, I feel like I can make it happen.
What about I bring it up now and we take a look at it? I have it here. So those who are watching, this is just last weekend, 2021 SEC's 100 fly final. I believe this is it. I'm going to be bringing up. Yeah. And let's get to the blocks. So yeah, so how are you feeling at this point?
I mean, I was pumped. I really thought. I mean, honestly, I was like, all right, I'm going 43 tonight. I'm gonna sauce on them. I'm gonna do my thing, but I did not, and I end up losing. It was a close race, and watching it, I was like, I just could have broke out a lot faster, put my head down earlier, stuff like that. I was just kicking myself for that, but I don't know. It was definitely uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable for me to lose like that. I was not in a good mood the rest of the meet because of that.
I like it. Well, let me fast forward to get this race started. 1 second.
First of all, have we ever had three guys go 44 in a race? I mean, I know Schooling and Caleb went pretty fast next to one another. Were there three guys under 45?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling going out in this first 25?
Yeah, I'm sorry?
How do you feel going out the first 25? Did you feel comfortable and smooth? Where you're at there? You too excited, too rushed?
I've been trying to, I talked with Jason and Jay about it. I can't understand how I can go out 20.6 in my 100 fly and then 20.8 in my 2IM. And I really, I like sometimes I read the comments of some and they're funny. But it was funny because people were roasting me and they're like, oh, like he's going out too fast. But like, I promise you I'm not going out too fast. Like, that's what's comfortable for me. I just don't know how to like get it even faster.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird like that, where that easy speed, there's a fine line between easy speed and forcing it.
Right. And I think I was forcing it because I don't know. That's not. Okay. Yeah, that was a close race. Definitely.
You mentioned feeling lackadaisical though, or kind of not with the right energy that you would typically do best in entering the meet. What did that feel like pre-race? Does that mean lethargic? Does that mean low energy amongst your teammates? And where do you think that came from?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of just it felt like a weight on our team and myself, and I didn't feel like very snappy and upbeat like I normally do at like Invite or just like any dual meet or something. It was very strange because before all my races I didn't feel great, but like before dual meets I can have 5 races or something and I'm still feeling good. So it was just interesting. I definitely think that it just had to do with like, the weather. We were out of the water, so that definitely, punched us in the stomach a little bit. But I think we bounced back fairly decent from that. That meet was just one of those like what happened? Like I was not satisfied basically. So I came back and recollected, and I was thinking I felt like I didn't work hard enough basically. I don't know.
Huh. Do you still feel that way, or you only felt that way before and like immediately after the meet?
Well, after the meet, I'm thinking like what went wrong, and I was just pondering like, oh, was it like the taper? No, that's not really. I would not blame the taper because I feel like the work you put in just solves that. And I think that like it wasn't my mindset because I was excited for the meet. I'm a very competitive guy, so I think that my mind was in the right place. I just think that I just got lazy and didn't notice it. Like I was working hard, of course. Everybody works hard, but I wasn't like giving it my 110%. I was just doing 100%.
So luckily, you have another chance for it coming up here shortly. What are the adjustments you're hoping to make at NCs?
Just smarter, more detailed work, and just more investment into performance, and not just like going through the motions and stuff like that. Because you can get by on talent for a while, but if people really want it, they will pass you and they'll leave you behind.
How do you feel? Well, what is your approach typically to meets when you get the best out of yourself? Like, for example, last summer, winning nationals. Do you go into meets with the expectation that you are going to achieve a certain thing and or go a certain time? Or what's your mindset whenever you have your best results?
I think it's a little bit of both, because whenever, short course, long course, it doesn't necessarily matter to me. But I think that, going into the meet, realistically, you have to have, obviously everybody should have a goal it might be unattainable, but it's something that, if you try your hardest and maybe it happens, you're ecstatic and it's super satisfying. But there's always like realistic goals. Like I put in this work, I've done this, I've done this, I've done that. I know I can get this out of myself 100%. So I always have those like set standards, like I always, of course, I feel that I work hard enough and I invest enough to always go best times whenever, the championships rolls around and stuff like that. But I don't think I necessarily place like this major, this big thing, like for me, I think right now, like I'm swimming fast and stuff, but a major goal of mine is to break an American record, at least 1 or 2 or whatever. So it's just, I don't know, but sometimes I feel like that can also like hinder me because I'm focused so much on it. I felt like at invite every single race I was chasing that, and it kind of messed with me a little bit.
Brian, I was thinking of your question. I was wondering how you're going to answer that, Shaine, because when I see your career, it's quite young. I mean, you swam on your own basically in high school. You've had a young career in terms of swimming at a national level. I mean, when did you swim your first senior national meet? How many years ago was that?
2018.
2018. So you're
nationals,
for senior nationals, that is. So you have so much more racing to go on your belt, and you've had a career that's been so surprising to us and to you. So I was wondering, how well are you still being surprised at your performances based on what you're expected and what you're getting results? Because your career has been so exponential increase and so young still.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that I've only gone to nationals, what is it, just 3 summers ago, and all of this has happened. But at the same time, I also feel like I've been in the game for a decent amount of time where I start to understand things. I'm starting to figure out like what works for my body and what makes me go fast and what makes me go slow and stuff like that. And I understand that, I mean, hopefully I plan on having a long and happy career with swimming. I'm trying to, who knows how long that'll last, whether it's this cycle or maybe a couple cycles down the road. But I'm just taking it bit by bit. I don't want to rush into anything.
And you mentioned going after some American records. I'd love to hear which records you think are attainable, or which are the low-hanging fruit, because you're pretty versatile. You can do a lot of different events, whether it's, like you said, and I've heard in different interviews that 100 fly you're still figuring out a little bit. obviously the backstrokes, the IM. Which ones do you think are the easiest to obtain?
I would not use easy. No, it's not really easy, but I think the things that are the closest to me would be backstrokes. I think I'm very close. I feel like, who knows? It could be next meet. It could be next year. It could be never. You never know. But I think backstrokes, hopefully at some point, I'll crack underneath and snag one or two of those. And then, of course, IM, being an IMer. I love to train IM because, I don't know, I'm just very like OCD. Like, oh, I need to do breaststroke today. Oh, I need to do butterfly. I need to do all 4 strokes. Like if it's a 4-round set, I'm doing all 4 a stroke per round. That's just how I am. It's really funny. But yeah, 2 IM, 100 back, 200 backstroke, and maybe if I develop and keep growing, and I'm still swimming collegiately, maybe 2 fly or something, because that's an event that it's like a randomly good one for me for some reason.
In what pool? In both pools? Short and long? You target longs?
Oh well, as of short course, the 4 I just mentioned, but long course, backstrokes, I really am working for. That's a crazy one though, especially the 200.
Yeah, he's yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's a legit record. Hey, so Shaine, what do you think that you do well? What makes you fast?
Like a all or nothing question.
Yeah, you can go philosophical if you want. I don't care.
You can say I have the biggest feet. Your coach said when he first saw you on deck, you're just like this amazing physique. And do you think it's physical, it's mental, it's your training, it's your
it's a combination of a lot of things. I think, mentally, there's like my ups and downs of how tough I've been. Sometimes I'm a little soft, but for the most part, I'm extremely driven and focused. But physically, I have really long legs, freakishly long legs for some reason, and freakishly long arms. So I think, that has its pros and cons, but I think there's a lot more pros than cons with that. And I do, at least in my opinion, I do work very hard for myself, but you can always do a little more, which I plan to. I want to work hard.
How tall are you? Have you done measurements, wingspan, and how does it affect your strength? And
I think I'm around I'm either a little over 6'3" or about 6'4" flat, and I'm about 180. Well, it depends competition weight. I'm like 182.
Uh-huh.
I'm usually a little heavier during training. And actually, it's crazy because I have like below average, well, not below average, but just like, out of everybody who has crazy large feet, I have normal feet. I have like size 11.5, 12.
Yeah, that's average.
Whoa, yeah. I was about to say, you and I are almost exactly the same. I would race at 185, a 6'4" on the dot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I got much bigger feet and totally different events, and I can't swim a 4,400 fly or a 136 2 back. But yeah, I wonder about that though. The advantages of certain physiological differences. We were talking to Gary Hall about foot size, and he was just saying, hey, Ian Thorpe's size 17 feet had to have been a massive advantage, right? That's like a zoomer. Right, it's like enormous feet, and then there are certain swimmers too that have just had massively huge hands, and like I've always wondered, are finger extensions going to be illegal? Like, could you do that?
My hands are kind of. I think feet size for sure. That feet size and ankle flexibility, like that's like half the stroke right there, just the kick.
But I was talking to Coleman Stewart too, and Coleman Stewart was talking about his flexibility and his ability to arch. Remember that, his physique. And you played basketball, you played football. Can you palm a basketball? Did you have really good leaping? Were you able to?
Yeah, I'm able to palm a basketball. I think I have also great flexibility for like a taller guy, because some people are like, oh, shorter people are a little more flexible, but I'm pretty flexible. I can get my face to my knees and stuff and like touch my ankles or whatever with like a water bottle or something ahead of it, stuff like that.
Do you learn from your teammates and some of the stuff they do in dry land? I mean, we spoke to your teammate for a while about her Eldoa and her Olympic lifts barrel. Do you learn? Do you apply specific stuff to you? Do you do stuff in the weight room in dry land? So you and Jason or your coach work on that?
I used to not really focus on like core strength and stability, but Beryl is she's pretty big on that. You know, she has better abs than I do, which says a lot. But and she's a big underwater with like the whole like motion stuff like that. So she kind of preached like that. I mean, we're separate because of the COVID stuff, but whenever we were training together, she was very big on like the kick, like a full like up and down, a full kick. Because I have a really good, what is it on my back? I think up kick or down kick. I don't know. One of mine is lacking. I'm trying to work on it.
Oh, good.
No, is it light on? Yeah, I was gonna say. So you are you a faster kicker on your back underwater or on your front underwater?
On my back, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very good.
What I was gonna say, what event do you enjoy swimming the most? I mean, enjoy meaning like I really look forward to this race. For me, it was the 50 fly. That was not my pet event, but the 50 fly had to be my favorite event. And it was because it was just so fun, so easy, just so I didn't care, it was relaxed. Mm-hmm. Was it for you?
The 200 backstroke short course. Long course,
really?
Ever, yeah. But short course, it's more of an interesting strategy that really helps me, at least, because, you know, the first 50, luckily I have the easy speed to cruise a 22 low or 21 high or whatever. So then I go out, you know, and then from there, I'm like, okay, now the race starts. And that's when I start per lap, stroke tempo and stuff like that, increasing. My underwaters are all right on that, but I feel like as long as my stroke tempo is a certain number, I think it's like, I don't know. I was looking at this yesterday with Jay. I think it's like 1.2 or 1.3. As long as it's in that range, I'm set for a fairly decent swim.
It's one of the most painful events out there. You cool with that? You good? Your legs don't kill you in that last 25? Your underwater doesn't burn? I mean, how are you feeling in that last 50?
I think, I don't know. I've done 200 breaststroke and 200 IM, 4 IM. I think those races are more like taxing on the whole body. Backstroke, I don't know. I mean, yes, I obviously feel it, of course, but I don't know. I guess it might be an experience thing that I don't feel it. You know, maybe a lot of people say in those rankings just do it once a season and it's the worst thing they've ever done. Me, I've done plenty of 200 backstrokes, so I kind of grasp the event and I know what to do with it.
So with your 200 back, what type of kick count are you trying to hold off each wall? And are we going to see you versus 6 Cal 200 backstrokers at NCs?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, definitely I will be there. I think, you know, kicks, stuff like that. I'm not really, that's something that I'm trying to figure out because I suck at kicking, but I'm excellent at swimming. So it's kind of like a trade-off, but short course, you need kicking to really maximize your performance. So I was trying to find a good balance. I think my number is 4 or 5 in a 200.
Well, you think you suck at kicking. That's wild because I've watched a couple of races of yours going 136 on the 2 back. I'm pretty sure you're pretty lethal underwater.
Yeah, define sucks. Where do you want to take this?
Like, you should see Luke do underwater. Luke versus you underwater. You'll have a whole definition of.
If sucks. I put fins on and a motorboat behind me, I will keep up.
Yeah, but seriously. So relative to your competitors, even you are fast underwater. So when you say that you're, and I don't know when you say kicking, if it applies to all kicking or, you know, kicking in practice or something, but can you elaborate on that? Because, you know, what we see in the race results sure appears differently. So I'm wondering if you have different expectations for yourself as a kicker, and that's where you feel like you're lacking.
Yeah, I mean, kicking wise, on my back, I don't think I lose normally, but on my stomach, I'm like the 8th fastest kicker, you know, with a board. But on my backstroke, I'm not necessarily focused on like, are you talking about like actual like back kick or like underwater?
Well, I think about it all together, but I'm just saying, like, if you say that you suck at kicking and I look at the races and go, well, I don't think that you go 136 multiple times without being pretty damn good underwater or kicking in general.
I think my swimming really carries my my swims. But with the 100 long course, I think my breakout, at least for my 2019 swim, I had an excellent breakout, and my first 15 was fairly decent as well. But I do think that I have a lot more to learn because I was only 19 at the time.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
I apologize.
At the race, reaction time for some reason I'm fairly decent with. I think I was, when I was racing Murphy in San Antonio last month, we were both 0.5 something like that.
You're already high up on your start.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the long legs. The angles are a little weird if I'm a lot lower and stuff like that. So I have to get up there a little bit. Yeah, a little uncomfortable, but it's good for performance, if you ask me. And the start, and that's because I think my start is a lot better than it is now, especially my breakout and everything. Yeah, so I'm just churning away.
Feeling good, feeling smooth.
Really good, yeah. It's actually crazy because I couldn't see because I have glasses, but here I didn't have prescription goggles, so I just went to the store and bought a pair of mirrored ones. And right there, when I get to the wall, I'm like, oh, like where's the wall? And I'm just like, all right, 1, 2, 3, flip, turn. All right, that was a decent turn. I felt like I could,
because when I saw this race, I thought, man, his legs come over so slow.
Yeah, my turns are so bad. It's the little things, but since that race, I've done a lot better at my turns. I think if you watch like maybe, I don't know, when I went 43 in the 100 backstroke, that is a much more solid race. My underwaters are good there, and my turns. But that was a young Shaine in that race. I still had a lot to learn.
At this point, you knew you were ahead, though, because you looked on your turn, didn't you? And you knew where you were at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, how would you say
a lot, which is a problem. I need to get my head completely straight up.
It's a nice shot of you.
Yeah, that's some good backstroke. That my right arm is crossing a little bit, but there's a lot to learn. It's crazy though, not swimming long course for almost over a year. I feel like my stroke is completely different now, which is very frustrating whenever I'm doing pace and fast, because I'm so used to the short course, like tempo and stuff like that. I'm trying to like find my old stroke again with the new strength that I have.
Yeah, are you guys ordinarily in the fall, especially doing some cycling back and forth between the big pool and short course?
I mean, the bureaucrats, they control everything, and they haven't really let us do any long course. I think the only long course I've done was that race back in January, I believe, in San Antonio. So wow. I've not been doing long course at all, but I also don't think that it really will make or break my chances. But it is nice to swim long course, for confidence and just like working on the stroke, nice and long, smooth swimming.
Yeah. Are you guys planning on, after NCAAs, making a pretty quick, abrupt long course shift and hitting it hard?
There was talk about just getting it switched. It just costs a lot of money to move the bulkheads and stuff, but that's not my money, so I'm not really.
Money to move the bulkheads. That's why they're worried about. Oh, it's because they have less lanes for lap swimming. Is that why they have less?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that happens. Hey, I want to, so reflecting on that 100 backstroke from nationals though that you won, you go 52.7. It's at a nationals though, where there's I think the world championship team wasn't there. So what I'm curious about is how that impacts your performance as you go toward this summer. Even though it's a super weird trials format, you'll still be in a heat with the top guys. Multiple heats, multiple events, but how do you approach, what's your mental approach to big meets like that? And do you feel like you know how to perform yourself against the top competition, or are you working on things to prepare for that?
I mean, I think with that swim, it gave me a lot of push in the right direction. I'm 19. I went 45.9 that year, and then I went to 52 or whatever. So, or no, maybe I was 44. But anyways, I'm a lot faster now, so there's that going for me. I definitely think my aerobic capacity is better. So I just feel like I'm overall a better swimmer, so I'm confident in my ability. And it was nice racing Ryan for the first time, you know, like seeing him in the flesh, like, oh, this is the guy to like race and try to attempt to beat and stuff like that. So I think that I'm following a really good trajectory with how I want to perform in a couple months. But I think, you know, I think the one thing I'm just lacking is just long course like racing. And fortunately, as of now, I have a time trial on Sunday, 100 backstroke. So that will be really nice to see, you know, kind of gauge where I'm at. Not early in the season anymore, or even in the like the really chunky work part where I had my meet in January. Because I really honestly felt a little flat on that meet, which was kind of frustrating because I'm like, oh, like I really want to be with Ryan right now, but you know, I just have to be patient with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of interesting to put a long course swim, you know, before the college season is completely over.
Right. Yeah.
Olympic year, right?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Tell me about training at Texas A&M and preparing for, I don't know. I mean, becoming, you're on the path to being one of the best swimmers in the world. You already are. So, what's kind of stood out to you in the last couple of years about, you know, training methods, schedule, whatever the, you know, competition wise that it takes to be at that top level?
It takes a lot of patience and balance and organization because I'm not good with organizing my time. So you know, my freshman year, I was extremely bad at like, you know, school, napping, swimming. I would like fall asleep during class and stuff like that. And, you know, sometimes if I'm like, oh, like I have to study, like, you know, I'm staying up late, going to practice, not having a great practice. So freshman year was a huge learning curve for me. And I finally got the reins of it and pulled it in my sophomore year. And that's when I showed the most improvement, you know, going from like 140 or like 139.9 two back to 137.1 and stuff like that. But I think, you know, being older and one of the upperclassmen, as you call me, I'm not really an upperclassman. I'm like a kid on the deck. But yeah, you know, being like that one of the older guys, it's a lot more focused now, especially being in this part of the cycle. You know, like it's every single week it just gets closer and closer, and it's crazy because, you know, I love to pop off at the mouth, and I'm always saying like random crap to like Jason, and I'm like, all right, like 5,100 backstroke, like all this random stuff. I just, you know, just bringing up the energy. But as it gets closer and closer, I start to get a little more quiet and like deep and focused and stuff like that. So, you know, leading to like big meets, I'm pretty quiet and just.
We're gonna get into this. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know how do you see your role as a, you know, one of the top guys on the team as a leader and the impact that it may have on your teammates? How do you kind of position yourself within the team?
I like to put myself like kind of in the middle normally, you know, just like, you know, everyday situation. Like I'm not a captain or whatever. I don't have like the title as like the official leader or whatever, but like obviously people watch and listen to what I do, whether I'm being an idiot or a responsible person. But, you know, for the most part, I like to be relaxed on deck, you know, mess around with my buds and stuff like that. But as soon as I jump in the water and it's like main set time, well, not even in warm up, I'm still messing around. But as soon as it makes the switch from warm up to main set time, then I'm completely different, a lot more aggressive and really focused and gunning for something.
So give us an idea of a set where you're having a good time with Jason and giving him a hard time about going 51s and things like that.
I mean, it depends on the day. You know, if I'm doing well, you'll definitely be hearing me the whole practice. But if I'm not, I'm probably pissed off or something. But I don't know. Let's say it's like, you know, 1650s pace on like a minute or something. You know, blocks of 4, and I'm doing fly back breast free, and you know, I'm holding 23s or whatever. Because I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, all right, like I need to be very methodical and like this exact time, regardless of how like well I'm swimming. You know, if my true pace for like 2 flies like 25.0 or something, I should not be going faster. But then some days I'm like, screw that, like I want to work hard and just go for it. And I start going, 23 something, 22, and then I just go 50 fast, 21, and I'm just yelling like, "Whoa, you can't touch me," and stuff like that. And I'm splashing water and throwing stuff.
I know swimmers like you. Being there, the coach says 10-50s holding 27s. You're like, no, 27s. Let's go 25, boys.
No, I mean, I definitely listen and I do what I need to do, but
yeah, but you push it.
I sometimes I go for it. Hold on, my laptop is dying.
That's it. There you go.
You got a cool style. Who are your style influences?
Styles, clothing. I'm not really sure. I guess like just modern fashion. Like I have a lot of shoes. I can show you guys some shoes, but
What kind of shoes? Show me your shoe.
All right, let me get some.
Let's do it.
All right, these are two of my latest pickups.
Dude, in the box too. There we go.
Yeah, this is actually super funny because I love showing my shoes. And
I got big shoes out of mine then. That's it.
Top Phase 4s. I got these early, but I still haven't worn them.
Oh, those are the Jordan 3s, dude. 1989. That's awesome. Jordan 4, sorry. Yeah. Dude. Yeah.
Those are cool.
Those are cool. I had those.
Yep. Chicago SB Dunks.
Uh-huh.
My roommate and I, we were very competitive with our shoes.
What do you? Okay, what else you got? You got any Adidas? Adidas is in a nice Star Wars range.
I'm not really big on Adidas.
You're a Nike guy. You jump.
Yeah, and then like Travis Scott 6s.
Yeah.
I think I had a pair of those actually.
Yeah, those were very popular when they came out in the 90s.
Yeah, and like a white. Yeah.
Shaine, man, you gotta rock those.
Yeah, I do need to wear my clothes, my shoes a lot more and stuff like that.
Is there? Do you get a new pair for a big swim meet, or is anything tied to the meet itself?
No, I mean I just reward myself if I really want something after a while. I'm like, oh okay, like I've got a couple of best times. Let's get a new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Do you think that we should get kits, like good kits, not just like tracks, pants, but some nice shoes, some nice, I don't know. What's the best shoes you ever got from a national team or you guys?
Ooh, I guess the A&M Ultra Boosts. These are pretty cool. The school ones.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I like them. Very comfortable, practical, school colors. Nice.
Standard issue. Yeah. But
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. I guess, I don't know. I was the kind that I would usually get new shoes before a big meet. That was my thing, and some people it's like, some people got to make a playlist or, they've got a certain, just like routine. I think I remember, Cesar Cielo coming back from, what year was this? 2007 Worlds. And that was before Beijing. So Phelps won like 6 golds at that world or 7. And then it was like all the big rage for next year. It was like, oh, is he going to come back and win 8? And Cesar got back from that Worlds. And he's like, Phelps wouldn't tell anybody what he was listening to before every race, but he said that he listened to the same song. And Cesar's like, I heard him because he was like behind in the relay. He took his headphones off and he said, every time he's listening to Smack That. All I remember is Cesar just going, freaking Smack That. So I don't know. Are you a headphones guy before races? Do you get jumped?
Not really. I mean, I do listen to music, just AirPods. It doesn't really matter, but I just listen to like, 90s hip hop and rap. Just, just feeling like a gangster. I'm feeling cool, feeling bad, like nobody can beat me. Just stuff like that. But sometimes I don't even listen to music. I'm just like, nothing's changing this. Like I'm gonna go do this.
Well, what do you think it is? I mean, are you clinical about what it takes to get yourself into the right mindset to get the best out of yourself?
Yeah, I definitely think that like, there's some things you just can't replicate, and like the importance of certain swims, like let's say like a dual meet swim versus a tapered swim, there's a lot of things going on in your mind that's completely different. So I think like you can try and attempt to like, manipulate the factors to like squeeze out the performance. That's how I think of it. But I think that, there's just, sometimes you just can't really get the full gear churning yet. Like, I don't know. I just think that my dual meet self or just in season self is not the same as my end of season self, if that makes sense.
And meaning that in the dual meet, you're a higher energy than you are when it comes to, the pressure race.
Right. Yeah. I know. It must have been a previous podcast or something when they were talking about that. And I mentioned that, like, my dual meet self, I'm doing more external things to get like hyped for my races, like listening to music, jumping around, getting motivated by like my teammates and my environment. But I think at like taper meets, like the pressure of that meet and like everything unfolding, like the years of work, in some cases is enough mentally to just get you in the zone. At least for me, like every taper meet, like I could just sit there and just visualize, and that's enough to get going.
What about your warm-ups? Does that differ at all in the water from a dual meet to a taper meet, or it's pretty set?
No, it's pretty set. I always do like, just depending on how I feel. I always stick to themes. I don't have the same thing. I always do build. I do hundreds, not best average, but like, the day of like 4Ams, I'll just do 3-1s on 105, hold 50 point, and try to make it like as effortless as possible. It's not easy. I'm always like afterwards, but so I do that. And, that's only like 4 a.m. like long race days, but normally, take that out. And if it's 2 a.m., it's just 50s pace, but it's not time. It's only effort. And, sometimes I listen to time. Sometimes I just do just the effort. And then sprint days, I still haven't figured out my sprinting, but like, I just do like assisted pulls. That kind of helps, like get in the rhythm of just going all out. So it's kind of, those are the 3 things I'm usually cycling, just depending on the meet.
Well, I mean, one idea would be not tapering,
Yeah.
Just
straight into the meet. And what's crazy? I swear, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes if you give me a day or 2 of rest, I have the same. I can almost match, a taper swim. I don't know. It always frustrates me. My invite swims to my SEC and NCAA swims, they're just weird. I don't know.
Do you think that's just you and the coaches getting that right groove and figuring it out? Because, like I said, I know you like to have a good time at practice, but I'm sure you're working your ass off. So I'm sure you could use a little bit more rest.
Yeah, and going back to it, the environment, that's like the biggest thing, being at home with the energy, with the expectation, like everybody's watching, oh, what's Shaine going to do? I think that always is a recipe for me to swim fast.
Oh,
that's how I see it. I'm like, I'm just going to swim fast at by every single year. Like it just happens that way.
Huh.
If I was to ask, I'd love to speak to Jason and say, Jason, how does Shaine best coached? Like, it's like a thoroughbred racehorse. Like, do you just like get him ready, put him in starting gates, do your thing? Like, how does Jason work with you? Describe that relationship. Jason is your coach. First of all, it's a J. Who's your coach? And how's your relationship with them? You have 2 coaches, yeah?
I have 2 coaches, and my first year it was mostly Jason. Then my sophomore year it was mostly Jay, right. And this year it's mostly Jason again. But Jay still has a lot of influence on like, my mind and like the intensity and stuff like I have like that. And like the way he motivates me is a lot different than Jason because Jason's a younger, more with this generation. Jay's a much older and like wise person where he'll be like, remember who you're racing during a set, and Jason will be like, go faster, like. But but I love the both because they like they take what's missing from this side and they take what's missing from this side and then they put it together and it's complete. So I like that. But yeah, when it comes to like like training, like Jason's more like fast, linear pace stuff like that, and Jay's more like aerobic, longer swimming and stuff like that.
I would like to be known as the wise one, John and Brian from now on, because I'm the older wise one. So
Mhm.
just keeping it there, okay?
Yeah, okay.
No, today you're the one with the worst internet.
Oh
Hey.
no!
Shaine, what do you think about professional swimming? Have you thought about your career? I mean, honestly, thinking about somebody who does really well on 2 days of taper is like the perfect recipe for ISL. So I don't know. Thoughts on that?
You know, like I obviously cannot wait to start making money to do what I'm already doing. So
Yeah.
that's definitely in my mind. Obviously, you know, whether I go pro after the Olympics, if I swim well enough and do great things, or I swim one more year, I definitely think that I will be swimming professionally very soon. And you know, the ISL does sound awesome. I hope it plays out. I'm not sure, you know, like what's going on really, because like you know, you hear things and stuff like that. But I'll worry about that when I get to it. That's really my mindset.
What type
Go
of
ahead.
event schedule do you think would be best suited for you at ISL? I'm sure you've been following it. You're
Yeah.
very versatile. What events and how many do you think you could handle?
Yeah, that's the event frequency is what I'm working on. But I think, you know, backstrokes, I guess 2 fly. I really don't know if I can hang yet on a fly. But it is short course meters, so that kind of enters into like my territory of swimming. You know, it's more the longer the race is, the more likely I will excel at it, basically, is my thinking on that. But yeah, I mean butterfly backstroke, I am. Hopefully 4 a.m. I love 4 a.m. I'm not afraid of it. It's just it is a daunting race and it's hard to like really like become a great at that race, but that's a race that at least while I'm young, I will attempt to do.
Okay, but one thing,
Go.
if you're gonna leave school early to go pro, don't be one of those guys that says, I'm gonna take my talents to the LA Current.
Yeah, I don't I know I would not
We're
say
gonna form a new team, okay? It's gonna be a new team. It's gonna be the Brazilian something.
I
Talk
watched
about
the press conference though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll go wherever is most comfortable and best for me. But that was pretty funny.
Talk about yourself in the third person.
Yeah.
Guys, I
Shaine,
go ahead.
so Shaine Casas has to do what a Shaine Casas has to do.
But I saw a headline saying that is Shaine Casas going to make the U.S. Olympic team? And I want to go back to try and impersonate Beryl Gastadello. Beryl says, you know, a year ago, I went on deck to Shaine and said, Shaine, dude, you believe that you might make a trials or you might make the Olympic team in a relay, dude. And now it's like, dude, you might make the team in many events. I'm trying to be Beryl. I would love to know, like, to me, like, you have as much chance to make the Olympic team as anybody on this planet, especially and as anybody. Where are you thinking of trials? Where are you thinking of that zone one? Where are you heading? Have you thought about that? Are you waiting to see? What's your 4-month plan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my mind, I'm going to do everything I can to make it, you know, like as awful as COVID has been, you know, like it was a blessing for myself. You know, it gave me another year to do everything I can to put myself on the team. So, you know, I felt extremely confident going into 2020, but 2021, I feel like, you know, it's not just make the team. It's all right, I'm going to make this team and I'm going to come home with a medal. And I hope I have multiple medals, you know, gold, silver, bronze, whichever, you know, that'll be that. But I really think at this point, like, I feel like I'm ready. And if I don't make it, you know, that'll be a tough pill to swallow, but I really think that I have a great shot to make it. And I have done what I need to do to get to that point. I just need to see where I'm at, you know, this time trial on Sunday will really help me out and gauge where I'm at, because I feel by now, like I even not rested, I feel like I need to be at around a best time area.
So what if you're not?
I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen. I don't know. I don't want to throw in the towel.
And then what happens if you do? What if you go best time by half a second?
It'll be awesome. Oh, this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be sitting pretty. I'll be on the rooftop. I'll be doing backflips off off the stadium. No, I'm kidding. I think it'd be awesome. That give me all the confidence I need, and I'll just keep doing my thing, and then just let me do me. But if I'm not, then it says like, oh, like we have 4 months, like let's figure this out. I'm not gonna give up.
What's
Have you ever been to Japan?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever been to Japan?
Never.
You'd be a tall guy there. I think you'd fit in though.
Yeah. I feel like I'm average height, honestly. Like people call me tall, but once you look at these big swim meets, all of a sudden you're like not tall, and you're like, what the hell, dude? Like I'm 6'4", and some guy's towering over me in lane 5.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you're competing against the guy that I was on relays with, and Matt Grievers.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on relays with him, and I was definitely the shortest guy on the relay.
Yeah, that's crazy. Swimming is very, very different than it used to be.
I have a big turn here. So you're at trials and you make your team. Not many swimmers of color have made the U.S. Olympic team. What would your mom say? What do you think your mom would react when she sees you make the U.S. Olympic team? Because she's been there since the start of your swimming journey, from getting you to learn to swim. Describe that.
Yeah. I mean, she'll definitely be crying. Everybody will be crying. Hopefully, I'm not crying. I don't think I'm not too emotional, but
I'm
crying. Maybe it'll make me cry. But yeah, it'll be a sweet and tender moment if I, can truly do it. I've been talking about it. Basically, I was like 7 or 8. I've been talking about it. So it'll be crazy to do it. 14 years later. But we'll just have to see.
You got into swimming to prevent accidental drowning, given your tragic dad's history, and to turn around and to turn into something glorious. Talk about that. Talk about how it feels to you. Yeah,
it's definitely. I'm comfortable with it, but I definitely don't talk about it a lot. So definitely always.
Well, we don't need to. Then it's okay.
No, it's cool. I think like the way that happened, it scarred my mother. So swimming became like a huge priority. Like she would never let that happen to another person she loved again. So she put us in swimming, and that's awesome because football was not going well for me, and basketball's fun, but I don't know if I had the top end talent to keep going. But swimming, like I'm extremely grateful for it, because at the same time I'm also happy to be the age I am and not have any physical problems. Like I love swimming, and if my kids want to do it, that'd be awesome. But I think everybody should swim. Swimming's good for your mind and body. And it's the story is sad, but I'm glad to, I guess, like make something out of it. Make something positive out of it. It's awful that it happened, but I feel like my mother wouldn't want it any other way now, the way it is.
I only brought it up because we've had recent talks with Jamal Hill. David Curtis got into sport for similar reasons as you. We just spoke to a brilliant swimmer who's coming out this weekend, and her mom in the island in Curacao, she's an Olympic medalist. She started off for the same reason. Her mom took her to the beach to teach her to swim because she didn't want to see her. The same reason. So, underserved communities, prevention of drowning, it's very important that people recognize that, and we all do, as the four of us are making effort. So
yeah.
Shaine, we got a couple rapid fire questions for you to close.
All right, go for it.
What's the hardest race in swimming?
Hardest race, 200 breaststroke.
Long course or short course?
Both.
Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold.
Are nose clips cheating?
I really don't think so, because some people like me, I can plug my nose with my mouth, but not everybody has the physical attributes to do that. So I don't think so. I think it closes the gap.
Oh, so are you cheating by doing that?
No, this was given to me at birth. I'm not cheating.
Oh, just kidding. If you could start an ISL team, what would you call it?
I'm not creative enough to.
it's gonna be a shoe brand. Come on.
The Heat. Yeah, the Heat. There you go. The Heat, and we always have fire on our feet.
I like that. What time does it take to make the U.S. team in the 100 bag?
I mean, I'm hoping to see 51, and it'll get done that way. So,
What time does it take to stand at the top of the podium in Tokyo?
with I'm not sure how to pronounce the Chinese, the top Chinese backstroker.
Shu Jiayu.
Yeah,
Shu Jiayu.
Yeah.
Evgeny, and Murphy, of course. He's the guy still, even if he might not be as on fire, but he's still the guy to beat, and he's my dark horse. But I think 51.50 or faster wins it. I could be wrong. It could be 51.8 again or some 51.9. Who knows? But I think 51.50 is going to take it.
You got to let us know how your time trial goes this weekend. All right.
All right. I will.
Man, it's been fun to talk to you, Shaine. Thanks for hanging out, and all the best of luck for this season.
Yeah, I love these. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time.
Right on. All right. That's it for the Social Kick podcast, and we'll see y'all next time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're enjoying Social Kick, tell your friends about it, and be sure to tell us what you liked by leaving a comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at The Social Kick Podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Social Kick, and you can find all of our content on our website at thesocialkick.com.